Okay, so I remembered I remembered a couple things that I didn't finish talking about, and now it's gonna drive me crazy until I go in and record. My other one is in the third phase of recording. It's called the, let's see, they have the preparation, the uploading, and then another P word. Can't think of what it is. But that process, the last one, that one can take the longest. And it's been in that one for a long time. But the other day when I came on and I stopped uploading and went and recorded and then went and did that one, the video I put on a second went on before the other one. And it was right at the end of the process. It is mental. Man, I swear to God, I don't know how their system works. It's such bullshit. It's just, it doesn't make any sense, you know? Anyways, so one of the things that I was going to say, so when you're trying to find balance, one thing to me that has been something that has been working for me is to find my own balance. And going through, so do stuff in your physical. Like, there's a whole thing to meditation that isn't just sitting by yourself and meditating. It is a connection. And so when I'm doing my balancing, that's in meditation as well, because you are connected to the other side. You're connecting to yourself. You're connecting to your internal world. And so you pull your focus towards that. And so when I'm doing that and I'm trying to pull myself into alignment, like I had scoliosis, I've had these things that to me, I know a physical represents the internal. So when you go in and you're trying to find like all the ailments that people have, is the chemicals and stuff, the frequency makes it where those things can get them, but it's your feelings about yourself. It is just like, you know, with cancer or any of them, just like what I was talking about before, you don't give yourself a choice. You know, you don't give yourself the opportunity to fail when you got to power through something. You know, when everything is going wrong, you just got to turn the corner and figure out how to get there. You know, it's just this constant, you know, don't let life get you down. Figure out another route. And so that is really, you know, important for people to find in themselves. But so, you know, so when you're going in and you're trying to find that balance, then you pull in to those things. And for me, and I don't know if it is just because, you know, some part of my thing has been about scoliosis and about balance. And, you know, what I have discovered through all of this stuff in my awakening, you know, about the significance of, you know, when I was young, you know, just whatever, 19 years old, and they took out my gallbladder. And so they cut a huge cut across here that was, and they tell you, you know, you're not supposed to do anything. I might have been 20. I think I was 20. 6 weeks. I just turned 20 though. And so for 6 weeks, you're not even supposed to do anything. And I remember because I was moving from California to Texas, because there for a while I was going back and forth. But, so, and when you don't do anything, and this is something that they found more like when you go to the hospital now, if you get surgery or something, they make you get up and start walking and doing stuff right away. But back then, you know, when they were making these huge cuts and then putting all these stitches and stuff and cutting on the inside of you and stuff, you weren't supposed to. But then they saw, you know, that that's not good for you. So anyways, right off, then I would have had atrophy and muscles and stuff. So, but I didn't even know that I had problems there. And then whatever, like a year later, was within a year apart from each other, that I got a C-section. And then they cut the bottom. So my whole entire torso, they cut a huge cut across here and then a huge cut across there. And so I had no idea all the problems I was having just from that. And balance problems and problems with my core And so while I've been working on myself throughout, because all of it goes together, like everything goes together. So I have been doing a lot with the kind of the yoga, the chakras, the balance, and the chi stuff all kind of goes together to me. And I think it is because kind of like this ancient connection. I know it's like, it's in my DNA or something. Like you put on certain kind of music and I just get up and start dancing. It's like, I don't know, maybe I am some sort of dance spirit or something. I don't know, because there's a lot of music. You can put on like so many different musics and like immediately I know, I can feel, I don't know, it's like an energy or something. I can feel the dance. It's like in all these different eras and stuff had different ones, but yeah, there's certain ones, and I'm like, I started doing these dances that I don't know. And so, you know, I just know that we have stuff that connects us on the internal. And I know some of these practices that became Eastern practices, which Western wanted to make money off of us. So they didn't want to continue the ancient practices. But a lot of the Eastern philosophies and Eastern practices are based more on ancient philosophy and ancient practices. And so when I go back into my internal and these things are coming out of me and I am not from there, I haven't been taught this stuff, it's coming from inside of me somewhere because I don't know it. I don't know this stuff. And I'll sometimes think, oh man, I'm so weird. And I'll be doing something and I'll just be like, God, I'm a weirdo, but I don't give a fuck. Like where I used to feel insecure about my weirdness, now I more claim it or own it. Like I enjoy it. I would rather be my unique, weird self than to try and be some sort of paper doll for the system, you know. So, and then when you start understanding, well, of course, I'm not exactly like everybody else because we're all from all over the place, from outside of the world. You know, I am my own self. And so, and I'm going to enjoy, I know, yeah, it was a part of when I was a kid, knowing that I came here for this certain reason. And knowing that I really wanted to enjoy the stuff. I feel like that is a part of why I like sugar so much. Because it is a part of the experience. Everything here is a part of the experience. You yourself are the judge of what is good and bad. But all of it is the experience. And so I was really aware of that as a child. And there was a lot of things. I was really aware of being inside an avatar. I used to just be amazed. I'd sit there and just totally fascinated, like, oh my God, look at these things. Look at how they're shaped. Like, it's so weird how they can grab. Like, or I do that with my feet. I would just be like fascinated when I was younger, like, I don't know, like 10, 12, 13 years old or something. And I have some significant impactful memories from when I was really young, but I don't have like a whole memory catalog. I used to have a really good memory and I feel like it's coming back, but I don't feel like it's like the same. I do think it is a development, you know, whatever, you know, that's a whole nother thing. I'm not going to go into that because I'm going to go off on that. And, but anyways, so while I have been working on myself, it's all linked in together. It's this connection to myself. It's this trusting my inner knowing. It is connecting to my soul and my internal world. And so in that internal world, when I'm finding balance and, you know, and pushing myself into being able to balance and hold myself and pull myself up. And I've even done where stretches, you know, like I've said before, where I'll be like, interacting with them and they'll fucking pull. I'm not shitting you. I have felt them pull. I've come out of my body doing this stuff. It's trippy. But anyways, so you know, you get totally connected. And, you know, when I came out of my body, it was while I had been doing this stuff. It was when I was talking about the stretching. And it was while my daughter was here. Because I was sitting here, you know, she was talking or whatever. And I'm just focused, you know, I'm just sitting here. Because I'm telling you, I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. I may be lost in my own world. Maybe I'm just lost in my own world. There's no finding me. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. You know, my tarot has said I'm going to be pulled back into the world. We'll see. But anyway, so well, we're sitting here, we were talking or whatever, but I was doing my stretches, and when I stretched and I was doing this one, and I'll just do these once. It's not like I have a set routine or something. That's why I said I'll just tune into my internal. I'll start thinking about like my body, like where, you know, what do I feel and stuff. And then you start getting into these movements and these holding things. And then you can see like, and then pulling yourself up and holding the balance. But when I had come out that one day and I was just stretching out, all of a sudden I just came out through. I didn't go all the way out, but just coming out and not feeling the barrier of the body. That was, oh my God, it was trippy. It was like being out in open space for a second. I was like, wait a minute, hold on. Like, I'm telling you, I just know that there is a big reason why we have this like spacesuit kind of is like our Merkaba, our energetic capsule. It is our, that's why I said, I know there's something about the whole thing with cars, about feet, about us walking. And I had just seen a thing too, where something about talking about driving and consciousness in the way we move and travel is because we're told we have to travel that way. What did I motherfucking say the whole time? I said, I just know the reason we drive or fly or go from place to place the way we do is because they tell us we have to do it that way. I know we don't. I know that is going to be the thing. It's not like things are going to be changing. It's us. It's our perception is changing. It's our understanding that's changing. Everything is still there. It was always there. But we just didn't understand it. We didn't know it. So we thought we had to go and travel like that. Once we get told we don't, I think it's going to start. That is how things are going to change. But man, I am telling you, and the things that would happen on my drives and the things that they would be showing me and stuff, I was like, this is portals. This is just... This is the same thing as what we think is out there in outer space. This is land masses. This is different cultures, different beings, different places. And we are traveling, and they tell us we have to go this way on this. If we have to go in a car, they map out our route because we live in a very controlled, movement oriented place. You know, they control our movement. They definitely try. And then I think that there is also a reason though for safety, because there is people who go outside of the realm and go out into the forest too deep and nobody's going to see you again. Like, we have airplanes that disappear in the sky. We have all sorts of things, boats in the ocean disappearing. I used to be obsessed with Bermuda Triangle when I was a kid. And so I knew about these disappearances long time ago, where when people started seeing, oh, this airplane just disappeared. I knew it was like, oh, it's portals. It's going through different realms of space and time. It is like that, like when I was talking about before, that one day, and this was like, because this was when my daughter was here, when I was doing the driving her back and forth, and I was driving on the highway that one day, and it was really chaotic, and she's always backseat driving, and it's chaotic, and I'm driving, and it's intense as fuck. You're going down this fucking mountain, and people are going like 100, and you're turning these turns, and it's like fucking intense as shit. And all of a sudden, it was like I got in this, like, it was like a pocket with these two cars, and I could feel I was in a pocket with these two cars, like an energetic pocket. And I could feel at that point we were moving as one, and it was so trippy. And so it was seriously like going, going at this one pace, this one thing, and suddenly entering this pocket, becoming a part of them. And it was like everything changed. The sound changed. Everything changed there. And I was really aware of it. I doubt, but, you have to be paying attention to this shit. You're not paying attention to it. You're thinking about somewhere else. You're somewhere else. You're not in that moment. You're not in that area, in that space and time. And so when we were going, and all of a sudden I felt it. And it felt like safe for a minute too. It felt like everything stopped. And then it was just like I was with them, and then all of a sudden broke free from it again. And then the sound goes, just like you're just coming out of something, and everything changes pace again. It is really trippy. And you can have, I'm sure we all have that stuff happen all the time. We're just not paying attention. You know, we walk through something and all of a sudden we think like, oh, wait a minute, you know, or maybe we trip or whatever, you know. I've had so many cool things happen to me where, like, you know, I have never doubted the spiritual world. Where these people are like waking up to spirit stuff and waking up to even these people, Jesus is real, Jesus is real, Jesus is real. You know, like they're just now like, I mean, if Jesus really is real, you know, they're really focused on that. Like I've never had those where, you know, like I never had a doubt. Like I've always known since I was a kid. And I don't know if it's just the benefit of having, you know, spirits talk to me from the time I was a child that I never doubted. Like I knew there was a spirit world. I knew that the life went on. I knew that this was not what we thought it was. I knew this was like sand on a beach in all of the universal realms of all things. I knew this wasn't anything. And then plus, like I said, my guides and stuff, they'd always bring me stuff. Like they were teaching me from the beginning. Like I was watching Twilight Zone all the time and Outer Limits, like the stuff that they were trying to really get me to absorb and understand. I was always fascinated by the supernatural and stuff. It's never scared me. And, but I have not been having this like, oh my God, can you believe it? It's real. Like aliens are real. Like there's so much of that going on. Oh my God. Same with ghosts, same with just that you have a soul, like all these things that people are just realizing. I always, knew. So, but, you know, that just puts me in another thing because I'm still doing stuff that's weird to people because I know people would not understand what I was saying about connect to your body. Because I was even, when I was watching this, I'm watching Serendipity. I didn't watch it all day yesterday though. But, oh my gosh. You know, and to me, it kind of is just a reminder to me all the time. Like, things, there's an order to things. There's an order. Even when we're trying to, you know, control the order, there's an order beyond our control. And it's our trying to control it is how we drive ourselves crazy. But there's an order to things. But anyways, while I was watching this, and, you know, Kate Beckinsale is so skinny. And they're out there roller skating. And all of a sudden, she has this really short skirt on. And I was like, can you see up her skirt? And I was like, man, these scumbag producers and directors and stuff, like, you know, what they did to actresses and, you know, and actors do. I mean, oh my God, there's so many guys coming out talking about their sexual assaults. But that, you know, I hear stuff being told to them sometimes. Like I'll watch something and I hear what's said to them. And it is, you know, just rude stuff, you know, like they're not skinny enough. They're not pretty enough. They need to do this. You know, they can get somebody else to do it and stuff. Just really stuff like, and the people who are trying to get those jobs, you know, they are already needing that. Their ego is already fragile. They're needing some sort of, you know, they're looking for something outside of themselves. And so they're ripe. And the people who are in control of this stuff, they know that. And so they just damage them more, make them more controlled. And I don't know, it's sad. But anyways, you know, why she was so skinny and stuff. And I was thinking about this because, you know, I feel like that some people, it has been a part of my whole thing with the whole food thing. That has been a battle of mine since the beginning. And it is a different kind of battle than other people have theirs. You know, like right off the bat, my body would tell me how to eat, what to eat and stuff like that. But I always had other people trying to control me and tell me. When I was doing what I was listening to my body, it was always good. When I listened to other people, then I would put on weight. I would feel unhappy. You know, people would tell me if I didn't eat all these things and do the stuff that I was anorexic and stuff like that. And, you know, and I did go through a period of time of body dysmorphia. You know, I did. I was really confused being in my own body. I know a lot of people are. You know, you don't understand because you are different than your body. So you don't understand your body sometimes when you're going out, the space you're taking up, your ship, your vessel. And so there is a whole thing as your consciousness develops in your understanding of this vessel. And so, you know, to me, that was part of the process. But in the psychological Western med, you know, they've got to label you and tell you you're dysfunctional and you've caused everyone else, which is one thing that is really interesting, because when I was younger, you know, when I went through that thing, because people are telling me, you know, how I need to eat, and I was trying to please other people, and I put on weight, and I would be so confused, and then getting pregnant and all the different things. So I did go through a period of time where I guess I was really, really skinny, but I kept saying I was fat, and I kept feeling like I was fat. I couldn't see myself. I was so confused in my own body. And in that time, I had some teenage daughters. And so I gave them this problem with that same kind of thing, you know, the focus on the exterior. And even when I would go out and stuff, I would always be looking at people, and then people think I'm looking at them for a different reason. I'm trying to understand the perception of how I fit into the space and the size of different people and things, you know what I mean? I'm looking at it different. So even if I'm talking about the size of somebody, I don't think it is like where somebody else, if they're talking about that, they're trying to say something mean or something. I'm trying to understand something. But anyways, all that kind of stuff does not go good with a teenage girl. So all of them grew up and they came to this conclusion that there will be no speaking of bodies. You're not allowed to, like if somebody loses weight or gains weight, this is in my family and I've got all girls. If somebody loses weight or and all granddaughters, loses weight or gains weight or whatever, you're not allowed to mention it. It's beyond someone's body. You got to leave their body out of it. And so that is something they're all comfortable with, because they felt like I focused too much on it and it fucked with their heads. And, you know, it was part of my trying to understand who I was, especially when I was not living the way I should be or whatever. And, which is tuning into yourself, listening to yourself. And I think that is, well, let me finish this part first. But so the weird thing about it now is like, so when I had seen my granddaughter at Thanksgiving, and the oldest one, she's just so cute. And she is very thin, and, you know, she looks like she's really, you know, trying to take care of herself and stuff. She's very cute. And, you know, but you're not allowed to say that. And you're not allowed to bring anything up about, you know, you look good or whatever. And I thought that she had said something for a second and then like caught herself and then didn't say anything. And I wasn't even sure. I was like, did I imagine that? Like, I'm not sure. But then I was like, you know, the funny thing is this is how it works. This is why the generations work together. Like, we can't just be focused on the one trauma for one group. We have to put it all together. So with the younger ones, that to be a rule for them, see that, so they don't ever get acknowledged. They don't get acknowledged for how they're looking or their vessel or anything like that. It's like you're not allowed to. And so I think that is hard on them, because nobody is ever being like, oh, you look so good. I love that. You really look like you've lost weight or you've gained weight or whatever it is, you know, whatever it is that brings you into your own balance. I mean, everybody's got to be finding their balance all the time, and that's with the vessel as well. And I've even heard people recently talking about when they have put on a lot of weight, that they do feel like it is insulating them from the rest of the world. I know that there's something about that whole thing. But so, and it's part of the process to go through, you know, of all of the stuff. I mean, there's so much with every single thing, no matter what it is you're going through, you know, there's a lot to it. It's not just a simple thing. And so, to me, you know, with those girls, then they're getting this other side, because no matter what, it's out of balance. And so us as a whole generation, as a whole family, see, you know, it's like my daughters need to heal their stuff. I've been working on healing my stuff. You'll always feel like that you've healed a lot, but there's always more to heal. So, but it gets easier and easier. It's the first, when you go through the dark night, that's just, it's the beginning of it all. But it just gets easier once you get through that part of having to face your demons. But so then, but see, we need to get to a point where you're allowed to tell somebody, you know, acknowledge them, because your vessel is a representation of self. You are representing yourself. You're showing yourself, you know. And some people, when they're doing a good job, they want it to be noticed. Like, but we are not allowed to. But so in the acting thing, I was thinking, you know, because of how much anorexia and stuff did become, and the distortion. And then also with the Holocaust, where I said, where those people, it's in the mind. Because I think some of these girls, like if they were going, like let's just use Kate Beckinsale right here, is, so she goes in to get this part. You know, she's a beautiful girl, cute figure and stuff. And they're like, no, you need to lose another 10 or 15 pounds. Then, you know, she could be doing everything right the other way, but then she has to go into lack mentality, because she has to try and get her desire. So they're dangling a carrot. You can have this great job, you can have this great money and stuff, but you got to do this. So you got to go against your own soul. So your soul, your body is comfortable at this one weight, and you're comfortable or whatever. And then it puts you in, and I don't know if it has anything to do with her or anything. I just know that this is a thing. And so then they tell you, well, you have to go and eat this way. You know, you have to lose 10 or 15 pounds. Then you go into starvation mode. Then you go into this lack mindset. You're missing out. You're losing out. And that kind of set the tone for the culture of how that became so toxic. Because when you just tune into your body, like if she just went and tuned into her body, and then you tell your body what it is that you want to be your optimum best or whatever. And then you start tuning in and doing what your body is telling you. You eat when it tells you. It will give you cravings. You eat what it tells you to eat. And then at the times and stuff, you don't go into lack. You don't go into, oh, it's 5:30. I haven't eaten in 5 hours. And now, you know, it doesn't go that way. And, you know, I think our more natural state of being is pretty skinny, honestly. I think that the reason why there's ever been times where people put on weight, it was at a time before famine, in which, you know, we're about to go into possibly now. Maybe that is why there's so many people who have weight problems, because that is part of what they have to learn, is a rebalancing between gluttony, because that truly is, gluttony is fear, is not feeling safe, is not feeling like there's going to be enough. So you got to just take more, because we could run out or something. So see, that is something that's out of balance. It has to come into balance. That's why all these different people who have a lot of weight issues, there's going to be a huge fluctuation in that, because it's this thing about going into balance. But so when I'm trying to figure out my balance and stuff, it's like you could go into finding your balance and pulling into your thought and centering to self. And then you can start healing stuff inside of you. Like you have, you know, a bum knee or whatever, you know, like it's helped so many things in my body by doing like yoga and stretches and stuff. And I think it has helped me. Like one day when we were doing stuff with Stella, when I was having to try and get her in the car and stuff and all of that, and I had to have the neighbor come over and help me. And she kept being like, oh my God, I can't believe how well you move around. Because I'm like jumping in the car, pulling it, doing all this stuff. And she's like, man. And, you know, because she keeps being shocked, because I think I'm older than her mom. And her mom is much older than me. You know what I mean? If you saw us together. Because she's always like, hey, my mom couldn't do that. My mom, yeah. I don't know. I was just like, well, you know, yoga, I don't know what else to say, is lifestyle. It's choices. Do you focus on your aging and, you know, becoming decrepit and no, here's somebody do this for me, and you just become more decrepit. It's a state of mind. It's a state of being. And so I think a lot of people get shocked, like when they see me outside doing some of the stuff I'm doing, you know, because typically you think an old woman wouldn't be doing that stuff. But to me, you want to stay young, you keep on doing that stuff. You know, you don't shy away from work. We should all be able to take care of ourselves. We should be able to take care of ourselves much longer. But their whole idea is, you know, you're old. Well, that is a concept that's been sold to you, and it's one that a lot of people buy into. And so we just surrender their health, surrender, you know, not take care of themselves. But anyways, you can find those kinds of, for me, with balance and pulling in, which it helps my actual balance. So, and when you tune into your body and you listen to your body, and your soul knows what your optimum is, what is your best, you know, and you can have your best at any time. Just because you're older doesn't mean you can't have your best. You just have to get in contact with your body. And, you know, if you've been slacking and you haven't been taking care of yourself, it's going to be hard because it's going to be pushing you. Like I'm constantly trying to tell my mom, she has one good thing that she really does all the time, and is, and it has helped her a lot, I'm sure, with her health, is she has a huge thing of stairs that she has to go up and down all the time. And so that is, she's even said, you know, she's got a butt, and you know, she's whatever, late 70s. So, but I'm always trying to tell her, you know, just, because she'll go out and try and pick something up and her arms are getting weaker. It's like, you got to keep all the strength, because it will all just go away as you age. And that's what they want us to do, is to become weak and dependent. You know, now, you know, I'm seeing more stuff where people are putting it together as well with the thing with school, is to try and get kids to lose their fantasy, to lose their creativity. You know, because it's, the whole thing is just to make us weak and dependent. And then what I was going to say also about was that baby lab. So the infomercial thing, they say they can grow 300,000 at a time or something. And of course, they're marketing it as, you know, all of you poor people who need in vitro. Well, we can just grow your baby right here in this lab, right here, right now. It is a great, but you know, the thing that is so disgusting, that is just, is the scientific, ethical, medical thing that we're always being pushed on, is that they want to do that and grow them for food, and also for, you know, like lab rats, like mice, like, oh, you guys don't want us to test on you. Well, we've got your DNA. We're just going to grow some little babies in here. We're going to grow them, and then we're going to just, you know, we're going to test on them, and then whatever's left over, guess what? This new burger, this new Beyond Burger, yeah, that's what you're eating. This world is so sick, you know. It's disturbing. But there's a whole commercial of them trying to market this new baby. I can't remember the name of the lab. You could look it up, I'm sure, and find this ad thing. It's one of those where they're like giving you this information. We can accommodate 300,000 babies in this one lab for all of you parents out there that have struggled with, you know, it's one of those kinds of things. So, you know, it's just marketing. I mean, they've already started building the line. I mean, they have every intention of going to full in with their plans, you know, I guess, kill all of nature and just keep us all in. It's a metaverse, you know, and what people have given up on their own lives and their own lifestyle to be a part of this. It is like a metaverse kind of thing, you know, like people have got themselves so limited in their lives that they could just sit in their house and do nothing, you know, go nowhere and do nothing. And that would become, you know, it's like a cubicle. It's like your mind is left in a cubicle. It's so much this metaverse. But anyways, so as far as they're concerned, you know, you don't need much. You need a cubicle. You just need your little space and, you know, somewhere you can pick up your crickets and pink goo so you can go home and have a scrumptious dinner and then, you know, sit online in a headset for your whole entire life. And that was weird. Something just all of a sudden was right there, like a blue light. I keep seeing so much weird stuff. Like, and Stella, she earlier, she's just laying at the end of the hall. She's laying here, and her ball is down there. And she's just laying there, and she just keeps staring down there, crying. I know that she's bothered by some of the energies. I keep trying to tell her, you know, I'm sure they'll go away. They're here, which also tells me, and I'm not the only person going through this. I've seen other people talking about it, but it tells me that that is also, they're here for this, to witness whatever's about to go down. I swear, I think it's got to be close, you know. Whatever's going to go down, especially it really does feel like that there's a lot of people around us right now, and the sky stuff, and in some of my dreams or the other places that I'm going and stuff, like I don't know, it becomes like so confusing when you are like just going from thing to thing. But, you know, I don't know, or something with the sky for sure that they were showing me. I can't remember all this stuff because, like I said, when you're in some of these spaces, you feel like you'll remember, like you can just go out and you can take everything with you, but you can't. Like some of the stuff stays there, and then you have to kind of go into a meditation and pull it back out. And sometimes, you know, there's information you get when you go into your astral or these other kind of realms in meditation. And you can sit there, I'm telling you, you can sit there and have conversations with them, talk about it, just be amazed, getting taught about it. Then you leave, you can't remember. And you're like, what? And so then you have to go out and try and remember. And sometimes I can remember, and sometimes I don't think I can. But the things you can't isn't stuff like you're supposed to know right now. Like, I think a lot of people seem to be putting that together. Like, you're only going to know what you're supposed to know. There's stuff that is supposed to be left as surprise, you know, and whatever's about to go down is going to be a surprise. But I think those of us who are like waiting on the edge of our seat, I think it's going to be a nice surprise. I think it's going to feel good when this stuff goes, because, you know, some of us have been waiting so long for this shit to go. So when it goes, it's going to feel good and not feel bad, you know. So anyways, I start getting all these things that start coming in my head, and then I get confused. But anyways, so, you know, just I gotta think of what it was. Anyways, because all of them being around and stuff, and then I went into the bathroom. I think I went in to brush my teeth or something, and so she ran down there and she got her ball, and then she came in the bathroom real quick. I really think that she is like bothered. I've heard of a lot of other people talk about their dogs, even their cats and stuff, being bothered. And like one of the days, she was sitting there barking and barking and barking, and then all of a sudden she turns and starts barking, looking up over here. I was like, so they came out, and then they went up there, and she could keep seeing them, because some of the stuff, I mean, we can't all see the same things. And I see things like it's like shadow. It's like the same thing that other people say they see. It's like a shadow, but it's forms. But you can also make out clothing. You can make out hair stuff. But it's also vague. It's also energy. So it's like an energetic. It's like It's like if you're not in a vessel, if you're not in some sort of an avatar or something, you're like an energetic movement. You're like a shadow, but you can still, like I said, represent who you were. Like you go and see somebody who's in their energy form, you'll still recognize them from the life that you knew of them. However you know them, you'll still recognize them. They don't need to be, you'll see them the way that you know them is how you will see them. You know, I don't know how, if that makes sense. Like, it makes sense to me. I completely understand. But you see, I'm seeing it inside of my head, so it's easy to understand. I'm trying to give you words and put them inside your head so you can see. But that's why, you know, it's so much easier when you get your guides to just show you stuff. But then they're only going to show you what you're allowed to know. And then just keep remembering you're here learning, and always keep asking them, you know, even when I'm doing the balance and stuff, you know, ask them, you know, where am I out of balance? What do I need to see? Show me what I'm missing. Show me what I need to see. And because you're always getting signs and signals to different things, but a lot of times you don't notice. It's hard to notice some of the more subtle invitations to information. So you have to more ask. Like I'll ask them all the time, like, show me, clarify, make it clear to me. Am I seeing this the way I'm supposed to see this? Like, is there something else I'm missing? And also you got to remember, you know, it's not like, you know, you're talking on the telephone and they're going to tell you right back. You may not get an answer for a while. So don't be disappointed. Like, well, I asked them and they didn't say anything. Just keep paying attention. You know, just like I've heard more than one story of this now, but like the lady who said, I don't believe in angels. And the friend said, well, ask them to show themselves. And all day long, that's all she saw was like something about angels here, something about angels there. It was just nonstop. She said all day long. And so, you know, just give it time and, you know, give them patience. And that is one thing that Stella has taught me a lot is, you know, she's slower at processing stuff. And so, you know, I really use my patience and talk to her and explain things to her. And, you know, she processes it and she gets what I'm talking about. But the thing that makes me sad is how many of us with our impatient and thinking, you know, like I see it even next door and stuff. You know, like kids just smack the dog. And I'm like, don't do that. You don't hit the dog. Besides the fact you'll make your dog mean and mad and not trust you. But but so many people are like that, totally impatient. Like, you stupid dog. I can't believe you stupid dog. Just all the time doing that to their animals. And it is so sad. I mean, you know, you're the one who's being stupid, really. You're not being patient. You're not communicating clearly. And then you're blaming it on them when you're frustrated. And that was another thing, too, that I was going to say was where I'd seen this total projection. Oh, because I watched, this was a really interesting movie. It was like a biopic movie. And it was this musician I had never heard of, Hank Garland. And he started in the Opry house. And he was a picker. He was a guitar picker. But so he showed all of his different things through his life. And it was really, really interesting. But this girl he got together with, because he had you know, I mean, he was a well-known musician. Like, everybody was saying he was the best guitarist in country world or whatever. And so, and then he got really into like the blues and jazz and wanted to go play with black musicians. And then he started hanging out with some, and then they started trying to fucking kill him. Like, it was fucking some violent shit back then. And man, it was crazy. But when he got together with the girl, she said that this was really kind of cool, because she was like, you know, because most people are empty. Most of us are all empty. We're looking outside of ourselves. And especially before we came to this point in time, it was just part of how we survived. So she was, he had all sorts of girls who liked him and stuff like that. He could get all whatever girls by the end of the night, right? And so she, he had this little flirtation thing where he would do some reflection with his guitar on them, you know, to get their attention. And so anyways, so he ends up getting together with this one, and there's a whole thing about their relationship. And she's real beautiful. Like, that was her thing. She was super beautiful. Like, that's all anybody was always saying. Like, she's so beautiful, she's so beautiful. And so then but she was empty. And she said when she met him, that he had so much light coming out of him, so much of this energy was coming out of him. She just wanted to be a part of it. And then, so she wanted to be a part of his life. And then it wasn't until she started being married to him and seeing that that was just his energy. That was his light. She couldn't get that from him. She couldn't be in it. It was his, you know, she had to make her own. I mean, that is what people have to see. Like, you know, she was trying to steal his energy without really knowing it, because it felt good. Like, not all things are done out of meanness. This is one thing where people don't understand. But I'll tell you what, I have seen some shit some women have said about with their moms. Like, you know, when I want to keep giving the benefit of the doubt to the majority of moms, you know, this one, I'm not even sure, you know, what her deal was. But she was, in the part I saw of her video, she's like, well, don't judge me. You know, yeah, I'm struggling. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. But, you know, I did meth and heroin with my mom. I would shoot up with my mom. Like, her mom, it seemed like whatever she was saying, from the time she was a kid, you know, her mom wanted somebody to do drugs with, so she just was like, come on, kids, come on out, let's do some drugs. I was like, that's some fucked up shit, man. Like, you know, this is right there, you got that kid struggling with drugs for the rest of their life. And then just the toxic shit that goes on when people are high and stuff. So, that girl, you know, I don't know what she was talking about on her thing or what her point was or anything, but that was like, oh my God. Like, that is like Robert Downey Jr. I think his life was kind of like that. His dad was always like a partier, and I think Robert Downey Jr. I think was coming out, he was shooting up like when he was 13 or something. But then, this other one, there's been a whole bunch of like these really toxic things. But this girl was like having some sort of emotion, and her mom was there and her son was there. And she said the tears were coming out of her eyes or something. And her mom goes up and says, you better dry up that face now, or something like that. And so she put aside her emotions and she dried up her face. This is an adult woman. And this just brought me back to that movie, that Lifetime movie where I was talking about, where the daughter was being out of control, and I went through this experience, and then the mom didn't know what to do. Then she goes to the mom, and the mom has these really, you know, severe kind of ways of doing things, which the middle person's not comfortable, because it's the whole generational thing has to be healed. So she's not comfortable, but then she's still going to go against her own self to please her mom. And that's what this girl said. She goes, well, I still had to do what my mom told me. And I've seen these other ones where people have said, like, some of the stuff that their moms have said to them. Like, there's a lot of moms who really have got to get into their healing. Like, they have really, you know, some of the toxic stuff I did to my kids was very much like not on purpose. Like, I didn't sit there and consume myself with my own uncomfortableness to affect them. I was just selfishly consumed with myself, and it affected them. And, you know, but some of these other ones, like some of these moms are cruel, like really cruel. Just like the one girl who was very overweight, and her dad kept calling her fat and saying stuff about, you know, there's just some really mean, bitter parents out there, you know. When I'm sitting here being like, hey, I don't want to be judgy of some of these people who are struggling about how they grew up. You know, I know that those challenges, those obstacles are all that people really do put those in place for themselves. Like nothing happens without your approval in life. That's just the way it is. Even though you forget because you have this veil and that all is part of it. But some of these people do have some really hard stuff to get over. Like I know I had hard stuff. We all have hard stuff, but you know, just hearing some of those girls, it just made me think, you know, I don't want to sound like I'm judgmental, like, oh, get over it. Just get over it. Like, it is hard. It is very hard to get over the damage that happens to you when you're a kid. But it is, those things make you feel so much better and stronger once you do get over them. You know, there is something, you know, if your mom was one of those just so mean, just, you know, she grew up. There's a whole set of time how people grew up, and we're still having the repercussions of that. That still is infiltrated into our behavior. And it is so much about, you know, hide your emotions. Don't talk about them. You don't tell secrets. You don't tell about that. You don't focus on that, you know, where, you know, you got to release it. You got to focus on it. You got to heal. You got to see the purpose. The reason why that things happen is so you can heal, so you can grow. So it isn't to keep you trapped. It isn't because you aren't worthy of Jesus, heaven, or any of the nonsense that they've tried to fill your head with. You know, the heavens above are open for everybody. You can only go as high as you can go. Your frequency holds you. There's no God that is holding you in place. The frequency is holding you in place wherever you are. And if you are going through something and then you have to repeat it, it's a repeating of that energy. Just like how these people, like the people who won't ascend, well, then, yeah, they'll go back and they'll repeat things. And the repeat is just the challenges, is the hard stuff that you go through until it sinks in, until you wake up, until you see the truth. But anyways, you know, the thing too with the body thing, I just think, you know, it's so important to tune into yourself. And anytime you're listening to someone else tell you how to do it, it's going to set you out of balance. It's going to create, just like with where these starlets or whatever, you know, there were certain ones that became so freaking skinny. You know, and becoming super skinny is an abuse to your body. Just the same as becoming overweight and becoming super skinny. It is you abusing yourself. And that is where you have to come to terms and heal the stuff. You have to find balance in yourself so you can stop abusing yourself. Because when you come into balance with yourself and you just tune into your body is most likely going to keep you on the thinner side. It's not going to put a lot of padding on you unless your body, your soul feels that there is some sort of famine coming up. Because there's a whole reason. I mean, you don't go out and see like a bunch of fat deers or something, you know. They're all pretty svelte. So will humans be when they get to their, you know, into complete touch with themselves, you know, and it won't feel like lack. That is a mindset. That is where someone is taking something or not, you're having something removed that you don't want to have removed. Like there's a whole balance, and I don't know if it's making sense, but it's a lot of stuff to try and really dissect to explain. So hopefully, you know, I can just say that stuff and it just clicks in and it makes sense, because I just know that's how it works. And I know that whole lack and that control and stuff is how it kind of permeated out into society and became so toxic. Besides the fact of the manipulation that they do in our culture with diet and with clothing and with style, is the same thing with, you know, where we live and stuff. It's all about this control and this movement to keep us always consuming. So it's all about that in all things. So anyways, I just wanted to say that again, because I was like, oh, I got so confused at the end. Something crossed into my head and I have no idea. But I know for sure I'm getting other people's thoughts and energy and emotions. And it was proven to me yesterday because something happened and it was like so overwhelming. And then my daughter messages me. And I was like, oh my gosh, she starts telling me this thing. I was like, I was already getting all of that. You know, it was weird. Like, so I know that I'm getting other people's stuff. Like, I know I can hear what other people think. And I know I can hear what other people think who aren't even living next door to me, who aren't even, you know, like, we're connected with souls. Like, that's the thing. Once we quit trying to just pay attention to this world, and how everything is in this world, and we start really focusing on our connection to the souls, like, I'm telling you, I can hear people talking, like, not talking to me directly. Like, I can hear what they're saying to other people. Like, it's like you just, I think it's where we kind of think of as like time traveling, is a focus. It's a focus on an energy. I don't know. There's so many things that are so trippy about this awakening. Once you get past all this other stuff that people are tripping through right now, and you start really getting into the development of self, you'll start seeing there's some trippy shit. Like, even this morning, like, because I told you that they'll tell me when I need to get up and do the fire, and it wasn't really that freezing cold. I mean, it's probably like 30 or something. And so then I was, I was in my bedroom. And so when they told me, you know, go do the fire, I was like, no, it's fine. No, I don't care. It can be cold in the morning. I'm just going to, no, it's fine. And then, anyways, it kept talking to me and stuff. And I was just like, okay, so I guess I'm awake now. And so I got up, and I'd been in there, I don't know, 20 minutes or maybe 30 minutes. I don't know, because a lot of times I'll just try and go into some sort of, I'll just try and go zip into some other world real quick and go make contact and stuff like that. So then I get up and I come out here, and it was just like the fire was right at the end where I just put in a couple boards. There, you know, it was just some really hot ash left. Put in a couple boards and just started right back up. It was like, it trips me out how, you know, but they're, and I just know it's an awareness. It's just an awareness. It's what you pay attention to. It's where you focus your energy. That's everything. And, you know, all the people who keep wanting to think like you're stuck in a storybook when you're trying to create all of this stuff. You're just stuck in a story. You're trying to make a story up. And we're not in a story. We're just in a dream. It is a story, but it's not the story that you think it is. Like what people think this place is and what we're doing here and stuff. It's so off to me from what is real that it trips me out. So anyways, you know, it's still 6:15 in the morning. I've already, hopefully the other one finished downloading, but, anyways, I don't know. This is probably going to be a long day. I don't know. Anyways, I'll talk to you later. Bye.